So when I was growing up, I had a lot of issues with with feeling very silly, with you know being defiant and so forth. Just I had other issues like irritability, OCD, and so forth, and a lot of it had to do with me having yeast issues, and because because when I took that fluke in, that helped with me not feeling silly and with not with not being so impulsive and have you know OCD and stuff like that. Just that fluke can helped with different problems I had in the past, and when when I was in kindergarten through second grade, it was those were the worst years of my life as far as misbehaving and doing things that were not good. I remember using a pencil one time to poke a student's eyeball, and I was not I was not in my right mind at the time. I was just I don't know why I even got to that point, but I just remember just going through a lot of issues and just having just doing things that I thought were funny when they were not, and I mean, all these things went down when I was treated for yeast issues, when I took that fluken, and I never was self-aware of the fact that me having yeast and me taking diflucan helped me with these issues, because first of all I was a little kid, and second of all I was going through some stuff, and I don't know. I mean, it didn't help that my parents were not on the same page with what was going on with me at the time. So, because my dad thought, okay, it's because I have autism, and it's because it's me, choosing to do these things that I shouldn't be doing, and that's why I'm doing, having these things, and then my mom thought it was due to me eating certain foods and having yeast issues. So it just made me kind of confused of who to believe. When my parents were saying one thing, and then the other parent was saying the other thing. So it was confusing to me who to believe. So, but what helped me to not be so confused with what to think is when I started doing my own research and just seeing certain videos on YouTube of people recovering from autism. So and so that gave me a good idea of what to think, and so and a few years ago I remember seeing a video on YouTube of a mom that has two kids with autism, and she was telling me about. She was talking about how yeast can produce a type of alcohol called ethanol. All right, and and I didn't know about that until a few years ago. So, there is a condition called autism syndrome, and that's when someone has too much alcohol in their body because of yeast issues that they may have, or other types of bacterial issues. And you can easily find this if you go on YouTube or go on Google or Start Page or just whatever search engine you use to look up things. Just type in "drunk without drinking," and you can right away find information about this stuff, because it's becoming a lot more of a known thing it's becoming a lot more known than before. All right, and also the good news here is that there's a lot more doctors that are starting to recognize about this condition than before. And I'm saying this because there are different there are a certain amount of doctors in different states that deal with these issues with autism syndrome. And you can easily find a list of different doctors that deal with that deal with this condition. If you type in doctors for Autism syndrome. And then you click on the website that says autism.org, and then and make sure it says providers. So that and if it says these things, then you're gonna know that's the link that you click on to see the list of doctors that deal with this condition. And I've seen a few people with this condition on YouTube. There is in fact a guy that was featured on Dr. Phil that had this condition, that had Autism syndrome, and I think that's a really good thing, because Dr. Phil is a very known, he's a very well known and famous psychologist. All right, that has his own show, and I'm just glad that this is becoming a lot more known, because there could be different, because there's definitely evidence that there are other reasons behind brain problems than just besides just how the brain is malfunctioning only, and so and alcohol is known to affect the mind. I mean, when people drink a lot of alcohol, they can be very spacey, they can act very silly and goofy, and they also can have emotional issues too. So it's and I've been through those things. I've been through feeling irritable and feeling very silly and stuff like that. So yeah, and if you know someone with autism or with other types of brain problem of some sort, and especially if you know someone that has issues with listening to authority figures and just doing things that are stupid and just very bad, like hitting someone or pulling their pants down and just doing things, and then they laugh about it. That could be a sign of yeast issues, and so yeah, and if you know someone that is going through those issues, then I would recommend them to see a doctor that has a lot of experience with yeast and autism, rather than just a doctor that has experience with autism to some degree, where they give them certain medications to ease some of their problems and tell them to see a therapist. Because just because a doctor deals with autism doesn't mean that they're going to know about this aspect of autism, or this or things to do with the connection between yeast and autism and our brain disorders, and because if you truly want to, find a doctor for someone that or your child that is going through these issues, then I would definitely recommend you or the person that is dealing with these issues to see a doctor that deals with the type of medicine called integrative and functional medicine, because those are the doctors that I have seen that has helped me out with these issues, that deal with these types of medicine, with that type of medicine. So yeah, and that's becoming a lot more prevalent nowadays. Integrative and functional medicine. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't accept insurance. I think that's a very bad thing. But however, though, the positive side is that integrative and functional medicine is becoming more prevalent in different health networks and universities like Stanford, Cleveland Clinic, Jefferson Health, which is in Philadelphia, and so forth. Okay, Henry Ford Health, they have functional medicine, so it's becoming more prevalent nowadays than before, which I think is really good. So, anyways, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and just if you have any questions or concerns, just leave a comment down below. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.